Same problem, different path. You're not behind, you're right on time.
Hey everybody, welcome to Same Problem, Different Path, episode 5. Can't believe that. If you're new here, this is where we take like a real money conversation and look at it from a slightly different angle as to how like TalkCents would do it. It's not to bash anyone, but to ask like, are they caring for the person or are they just caring about their process and their tools? So this week, still with Dave Ramsey. Again, I've been listening to some of his other stuff and he's a solid guy. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but just some of the advice sometimes skips things. And in this case, we have a lady who called and asked for some structured, practical, clear advice. And Dave gives it to her. But my question is going to be, with that advice that he gave, what's going to happen in 6 months when the budget isn't there, when the budget isn't working? So here's the situation. It's a woman named Jessica. She calls in from Dallas. She and her husband, they bring in about $3,100 a month. They have about $300 that includes a mortgage, a credit card, 3 cars, and they spend about $30,000 on solar panels. And then Dave, ultimately says, get your income up, do a budget, give the car back. If all else fails, he says, sell your house, which is a big deal if you spend all this money getting it. But all that stuff could help their financial situation. But in that list of things, one thing that stuck out to me in this specific scenario is the solar panels. Because I've been tried to be sold solar panels. And I think about when the salesperson knocked on my door and said, hey, if you do this, you could save money on electric bill. After X number of years, you'll be pretty much making money. And you feel like that's a responsible decision for your family. But in that moment, Jessica, she didn't feel frivolous. She felt responsible. Her nervous system wasn't spiking. It was actually relatively calm. It was like, okay, this guy gets me. And so because she thought she was doing the right thing, that's not recklessness. That is a person who wants to do well. They want to get a handle of their story and try their best to do what they can. So when Dave says, hey, okay, just write a budget and stop buying things you can't afford, I have to ask, does she know why she bought those panels? Not the story that the salesperson told her. We're talking about her story, because there's always going to be a story underneath the purchases that we make. Let's say maybe she grew up where doing something responsible was the only way that she felt safe. Maybe anything that promised like, hey, you'll save a little bit of money. It felt like a lifeline. It felt like, hey, I'm finally contributing to what's happening. But either way, something drove this decision, and a budget, Dave's recommendation, doesn't actually touch that. I mean, here's what they actually told her to do. They said, turn off all your screens so you don't see any infomercials. But you can't avoid every temptation. Let's say the salesperson comes back. Let's say there's an email that pops up and says, hey, if you do XYZ, you can save this much money. Let's say a friend comes to you and says, hey, I got this thing that will save you a whole bunch of money. You can't white knuckle your way all the way through life and telling your nervous system to just stop. That's not a plan. That's a pressure cooker. Because eventually you're going to explode and you're going to spend money frivolously. But, TalkCents, we wouldn't start with the budget. We start with the question underneath the budget. All right, so Jessica, what do you actually value? Now, not what sounds responsible, not what the salesperson told you, but what do you actually value in this season of your life? Maybe it's security. Maybe it's just freedom, not even financial freedom, just freedom. Maybe it's being a good provider, because once we understand that, we can see if the spending is moving you toward those values or just giving you the feeling of them without the substance. The budget, that's the tool. And again, we need the tool, but the values, those are a compass. That's our compass. And you can't navigate with the tool if you don't know which direction you're trying to go. So for everyone that's listening to this, if you've ever made a purchase that felt right in the moment and then confusing afterward, that's not you being bad with money. That's a nervous system responding to a trigger with the only tools that it had. And the reality is the work is not to punish yourself for that. The work is to understand yourself better for why you made those decisions. So I want to just maybe take a moment and just think about a purchase you later second guess. What were you feeling in the hour before you made it? What need were you trying to meet? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, just something to consider, something to reflect on and think about. I mean, that's kind of what the premise of TalkCents is we take the same problem somebody covers and do it a different way. So if any of this resonates with you, maybe you were someone that made a purchase, or someone that made a purchase they regret, share this with them. Just let them know, hey, there are alternatives to handling your money. We get to the budget, but let's first figure out exactly where you are right now. Not where you should be, but where you actually are. That is TalkCents. So I hope you all enjoyed this. A woman, $300,000 in debt. Dave says, hey, sell your house. I mean, Even that last little piece of line is, just save your house, sell your house. I get it. I understand if we're talking just numbers and cents, yes, let's do it. You're in a neighborhood, you have friends, you have family. There's so much more to it than just that. And that's kind of really what I'm getting at. What I really am trying to get out of these conversations is that our financial decisions aren't one-dimensional; they're multidimensional, and we only try to attack our financial issues using the basic tools that have been given to us. We might miss something. So hope you all have a great rest of the day. This is episode 5. Can't believe that. If you have any videos that you would like for me to talk through, definitely open to that. If you have any stories you like, feel free to share those with me. But yeah, this is us. Remember, like I always say, talk first, tools later. So have a good rest of your day.
Same problem, different path. Let's slow it down. Not the numbers, the feeling. Same problem, different path. You're not behind, you're right on time.